guys, it's Brooklyn. We're back again, video number 2, podcast video number 2. We're almost to 100 subscribers, so I'm really excited about that. Speaking of, if you could please like and subscribe right now, that would be super helpful. I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we're at like 94 right now?
Yep.
So maybe by the time this post we'll be at 100.
I hope.
Maybe not. Hopefully we get this out tomorrow morning though.
Yeah. So thank you guys for those of you who have already subscribed. If you haven't, please subscribe. We would love to get to 100 subscribers.
Yeah, I'm not sure how fast this subscriber thing is supposed to go, but I don't know. It feels like we're going pretty well. We've got a good increase of people watching the videos and then just a slow increase of subscribers. So yeah, if you could like, subscribe, help get the word out, that would be great. But so far, I think it's been pretty good.
I think so too.
Yeah, we're doing this video podcast thing again. We didn't get a ton of views on this, but I think we got a lot initially.
Right.
And then not a lot afterward, which I think is to be expected.
Most of our videos are about the same views at the start, and then like weeks later is when we get the most views.
Yeah,
or when
starts growing.
It grows, yeah.
So that very first video we did, the Switch unboxing, actually that's a good thing to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't told you guys. It has reached my first video, the refurbished Nintendo Switch, has reached over 1,000 likes. Oh, views, not likes. But I was really excited about that. He actually texted me and I was like, what? No way. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's really interesting to see how people are finding it so many weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we started this, we kind of thought, oh, well, they would watch week to week and then, you know, you'd have a little bit of viewership here and there, but actually that video gets recommended when people are doing different searches.
Right.
And so it gets like 50 to 100 views or more every single week and is doing really well for itself, which is interesting and cool. And then also it's like, well, I'm glad that we did a pretty good job with the very first one.
Right.
But
it is our first one.
Yeah, we could have done better. So people are seeing, you know, that as, you know, an intro to the channel, which I think it does a fine job representing us.
Yeah,
but
I think so too.
Yeah. But in terms of this kind of a thing, we saw that a bunch of people watched right when it came out, but I think it makes sense that it's more timely. It's talking about stuff that we've just done. We talked about the NFL playoffs, which, you know, nobody now cares what happened 3 weeks ago really all that much. So, you know, why are they going to invest the time to watch that?
Right.
So, it might make sense to move this somewhere. I know somebody last time, McMeme Dream, commented on our last post that maybe this should move to Twitch, and it's something that we've talked about.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do Twitch for a long time. We just have a few things we need to figure out, but it will be coming soon.
Maybe equipment to be purchased, which doesn't come free, obviously. And I think that maybe ultimately something like this might be better on Twitch. People can watch it live and replay it and stuff. So maybe that's where this ends up. But for right now, I think this is pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to have my phone again.
Yeah.
And he'll have his iPad.
Yeah, so I think next on the docket is just talking about the last couple of videos. So we've actually only released 2 videos since the last time we did the video podcast. We felt like we needed to do a video podcast today, though, because last time we did a video podcast was 2 weeks ago. It was the beginning of the NFL playoffs. Now we know who's going to be in the Superbowl, so we wanted to follow up on that. For people that don't care about sports, we'll do that at the end. So we can talk about kind of...
Just a little recap again, what we did.
Yeah, so the last few videos, the first one is that Reforged legacy lightsaber review.
So we actually had recorded that one twice. So...
Yeah, that was the one. So when she says recorded twice, that was one of the ones that we did a video, you know, just a trial video beforehand to see how we would make videos and how things would work. And that was one of them that, you know, we talked about will never be seen. But we actually liked the video. we didn't like some of the production of it. So
and I have pink hair in it.
Yeah, that was a little different. And so we re-recorded it.
Which was really cool to see a transformation from the first video we did compared to that one.
Right. You won't get to see that.
You won't.
But
it was a cool transformation. So yeah, we did that one again. And it was really cool that he added in movie clips to make it even more real and to show the excitement of why I love getting the lightsabers. I think it brings it more to life.
Yeah, that one especially has such a story behind it. And you have the regular Skywalker lightsaber that I think they call the Rey saber doesn't make a lot of sense, but Anakin's original lightsaber, and then the reforged one is the one Rey uses it, but she repairs it, and it's got those repair things. But it really is a cooler lightsaber if you go through the whole history
of it.
Yeah, where it came from, where it's been, and why. And so even though the lightsaber itself is cool, but once you know the story behind it, it feels cooler, at least to me.
Yeah. So we tried to bring that in a little bit so you guys could feel what we feel about the lightsaber. So
yeah. And it just felt like bringing the movie clips in, making it a little easier to understand was a good opportunity to use that. And maybe we'll do a little bit more of that. I don't know, always with Star Wars stuff, but just bringing in other references and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, so follow up on another comment. I think we'll see if we pronounce this right, but I'm pretty sure it's MonkeyFlip15 commented a few weeks ago on another lightsaber video about the lightsaber blade sizes. So you can buy either the 26 or the 36, and you've been saying in the videos that 36 is big.
Right.
And then when you make a lightsaber in Savi's workshop, you don't buy it. They actually give you a 31-inch blade, which is right in the middle. And the comment was, that seems like the sweet spot, but you can't buy it. And that actually isn't entirely true, at least for right now. I don't know how long they're going to be doing it, but you can buy it, at least in Florida at Disney Springs in the Star Wars Trading Post and at Disney World. It just comes as its own thing. It doesn't come in a box, so it seems like maybe something they haven't really thought through, but they wanted to start selling it. So you can actually buy that now,
right? At
least for the time. Maybe that'll change in the future, but that is available.
So there's a sweet spot. And then the other video we did was actually my least favorite video I've ever recorded, the Hermes Apple Watch. I think I sound super monotone and not exciting, but it actually has, from the start of us posting it, it has the most views at that, where it's at.
And it actually did. From about 2 hours in, it was our best video, and still continues to be our best video, which is crazy.
Which I actually didn't tell you. I usually post right at 10 o'clock on my Twitter and my Instagram to remind everyone that I have a new video out, but I was a little late on that one, so I was like, oh, that means some of you have your alerts on. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of why the first hour or two it didn't do as well. But then we've seen that it's progressively stayed our top video to date, which is a little bit weird. I think also too it makes sense. So by far our best video with the most views is that unboxing of the refurbished Switch. And I think people are looking for that kind of specific video.
Right.
And it's probably helpful in making a buying choice. And probably when people are going to buy an Apple Watch, they're going, well, there's this one that's a little expensive, but hey, not that bad, all the way up to this Hermes one that's like, who would ever buy that expensive? And why would you do that? And so they're probably heading to YouTube looking to see. So,
we've talked about probably doing another video on, I talked about it in the video too, in the Hermes Apple Watch video about just the Apple Watch faces it comes with. So since everyone seemed to like that one, that will probably be happening soon too.
Yeah, just do a little more in depth on it.
Yeah.
Because we explained it, but we brushed over it. We didn't show all the faces that the Hermes Apple Watch has, and so maybe we'll go through and just get a little more in depth to that. I don't think it's really a secret there, but maybe we kind of said, oh, we couldn't resist putting the
pumpkin in there.
Yeah.
But we did record that one around Halloween time. If you look closely, you can tell my nails are Halloween. That's kind of how we have done things. If we haven't had time to record that week, we have just several that we can post.
Yeah.
So that one got delayed a little bit. So yes, we did post a Halloween one in January.
Yeah. And I think we wanted to post it in December, and you said,
it was like right at Christmas.
It's clearly Halloween. Let's wait until at least January, which felt fine. But yeah, so sometimes we record one video every week, or sometimes we record 2 or 3 videos a week and try to space them out so that if one of us has something going on, we can still post a video the next week. And in this case, we kind of learned, I mean, I had every intention of publishing that Hermes one immediately, but I think the iPhone video that we had bumped it. And so we didn't post it, and then it just kind of kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and until And
then I got excited about lightsaber ones and...
right.
Yeah.
And then I finished editing it and went, oh, this pumpkin here. So maybe that's something that we learn in the future, is that if we are going to have one that isn't necessarily timely, that we don't need to get out real quick and might sit 2, 3, 4 weeks, that maybe we don't put something seasonal in there. So yeah, a little behind the scenes on, but also just like the Reforged, not the Reforged, what am I trying to say? The Switch video, the unboxing. I mean, we did that, what was it, August that we released that? September timeframe, and many people are just watching it now.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of people that have watched that Hermes video next October or close to Halloween. So,
okay.
But for you guys that are always watching right when they come out, it probably was a little bit weird to see that pop up mid-January. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's what's happened since our last podcast. We posted those 2 videos, and we're almost at 100 subscribers. Yeah.
Shoot. Okay.
A little recap on our last podcast. We talked about playoffs.
NFL playoffs. Yeah. So the Steelers.
I knew you were going to say that first. That was disappointing. I don't know how much there is to say.
I mean, I have a little bit to say about it.
I actually stopped watching after third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I was away and I was watching it and texting you and the rest of our family. Like, I mean, the most embarrassing way to start. I mean, I think they made a little bit of a comeback and tried to make themselves look respectable.
They did.
But, I mean, we thought, and we talked about on our last video podcast, that there was no way they were losing to the Browns, especially after
it was a close game last time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then having been in the game this time.
Yeah. What an embarrassment. Just all around.
I'm still a little heartbroken.
Yeah. Steelers got some things to do this offseason. I will say that they did have like some COVID fiasco there. And
they did.
And it's hard to hold really anything against any team this season with how weird everything was. And I'm sure there's a lot more going on than we even know, with players coming in and out and not being able to practice. And I'm sure things were very weird. So it's hard to say, but from just what we know, the Steelers have some changes to make and some attitude changes.
They definitely are forced to make some changes because they have a lot of free agents.
Oh, well.
So, I mean, I guess they don't have to change. They can re-sign them. We'll see what ends up happening there. They might have a completely new team, though.
Yeah. Well, and they're going to have to do something because they're obviously competitive, but if anybody there in the AFC, if they're wanting to get and break out of the NFC and get into Super Bowl contention, there's going to have to be some things done to be able to compete with the Chiefs, which we can talk about a little bit later. What the Chiefs are exactly who we thought they were, but which is very good. But I just don't see the Steelers being a contender next year.
No.
Not on a high level. Maybe a playoff team, but
I think it's going to be a couple. It's going to be a few rebuilding years, I think. I think if they were to go to the Super Bowl, it was this year, but yeah.
And and we talked about before, we didn't think that they were ever going to get past the Chiefs.
No, I did not.
Okay, so moving on. So the Bills, they are like the Chiefs, kind of who we thought they were. We both resisted saying that they were any good, but I think we both also agreed that they are good. We just have our biases of me having felt like they were bad all growing up, you having seen all growing up they being horrible. Bad. It's hard to digest that, oh, the Bills are a good team. Mm-hmm. And I think we saw that they are a good team, not a great team.
Yep. Lamar Jackson getting hurt made me pretty sad.
Sure.
My heart broke for him. That was really, really sad. I don't think they were going to win it anyways. Well, I did. But when I was watching, I was like, and then Lamar got hurt. And I'm like, yeah, there's no way. Watching the Bills this week with their fight.
Well, the end of the game got pretty chippy.
That made me not very happy. They looked mean.
They were
like punks.
Sore losers, that's for sure. And especially the game started off, the Chiefs were playing horrible. I think it was 9-0 before you even knew it. And
it was fast.
I think the betting line was the Chiefs to win. I think they had 3 points, which is like, if I were a betting person, I mean, you've got to take that. That's like a gimme bet. Like, just 3 points. There's no way that the Chiefs weren't going to at least win by 10. But at the beginning of that game, I thought, oh, well, maybe if things keep going this way and it takes the Chiefs a little while to get going. I thought the Chiefs were going to win anyway, but I thought, well, maybe if they get a quick 10, 17 points on them, then this can be a good game.
Closer game, yeah.
But
and then
it turned out the Chiefs are exactly who we thought they are. Yeah, so, I mean, Mahomes gets not enough credit for how good he is, and also way too much. I mean, we hear about him all the time, but then also it's just like this expected thing that he goes and does what he does every single week, and he does every single week, and it is incredible. I'm tired of hearing about it, like I said last time, but it is amazing to watch, and their team is a very good team. And we haven't talked about the NFC side yet, but just a sneak peek into that. It's no matter who you are, it's hard to say anybody's going to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
No matter who it was. So what we did see on the NFC side was actually a little bit more surprising than what we thought it might be.
Yeah, we predicted. Yeah. I definitely don't know what I was going to say. You might have to take it away. Give me a second. Let me gather my thoughts. Say what you're going to say.
Okay. So when we talked about how we both liked the Buccaneers, but we didn't think that they were that good yet.
To make it to the Super Bowl this year.
Right. I thought maybe it could happen, and it turned out that game against the Packers yesterday or a couple days ago ended up being a very good game, and really either team could have won. Maybe we can talk about the really
that was a good game.
Stupid choices that the Packers made at the end of the game. But as far as the Buccaneers go, they played well enough to win. They didn't not deserve to win. They deserved to win. The Packers made poor choices, yes, that helped them win, but the Buccaneers do deserve to be that team out of the NFC. And we kind of talked about maybe they're not there, but at the end of the season they started clicking. What team would we see? And at least in the first half, we saw a very good team that could give the Chiefs a run for their money. The second half, not so much.
They weren't looking so good.
But it was interesting that the Saints, very good team. The Packers feel like a very good team, and to see the Buccaneers come out ahead of all those really felt good. I was excited for them and to see Tom Brady succeed, but I was also a little bit surprised that was able to come together so fast. I, at the beginning of the season and really all through the season, thought the Buccaneers are going to be okay, but next year is really going to be their year. So to see them get there now is impressive.
I was definitely bummed for Drew Brees. I was really sad about that. I did want the Buccaneers to win, and then I was sad for Aaron Rodgers too. Yeah. So that was a bummer. And then I'm going on to this part, but I was really surprised Aaron Rodgers didn't stay on the field on fourth down. And I was like watching him, I'm like, he's not even like reacting. Like he's not even on the sideline. Like what's going on? He just kept his cool, which I mean is cool that he could do that because most players would be flipping out. But I mean, you can listen to his post game talk and you can tell he was pretty frustrated and sad. I mean, that's a pretty really poor.
Well, and he said, I figured we're going to have 4 downs there. And maybe I would have done something different on third down if I would have known that
was the play call.
That was going to be it. And yeah, I think from a football standpoint, just I kind of understand what the thought process was there. And I can kind of say, well, maybe. But really, just an all-around poor choice.
I could see it, but it's you have 2 minutes left. You have a 2-minute warning, too.
Right. Well, and that's what their coach said is, well, we had 3 timeouts, and we had the 2-minute warning, so we figured we had basically 4 timeouts. But the points don't add up. So you've got 3 points. You still need a touchdown.
Right.
So what do you really have to lose by going for it? Because you're still going to need a touchdown. And I get maybe they felt like they didn't have the 2-point conversion play and that they weren't going to make the 2-point conversion because they were down 8, not 7, which is a lot different. But when you have who we think is almost a given, the MVP of the league this year in Aaron Rodgers, and you're saying, I'm going to take the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands to go and win the game and just kind of hope that my defense does it, I think...
Against Tom Brady. See, the difference is at the end of the second half, Buccaneers have the ball close to the 50-yard line, and it's 4th down. And what do? They roll the dice. They trust Tom Brady. They get the 1st down, and then the very next play with 6 seconds left, which is another ridiculous defensive play call. The defense that the Packers were in was absolutely horrible. But Tom Brady throws a bomb to end the half for a touchdown. That's a stark contrast. Trusting Tom Brady at the end of the first half versus... They gave him too much time. That's the memes going around. I think it's so funny.
But trusting Tom Brady at the end of the first half in that game versus not trusting Aaron Rodgers with the ball on 4th down at the end of the game was the difference in the game. Mm-hmm. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers... I'm very upset about that.
Yeah, it's sports media, so who really knows what's true, but he doesn't know. Well, if he's playing next year, he doesn't know if he's playing for the Packers, which, please, if I was what's that called? Person that asks questions?
Reporter?
Sure, a reporter. I hate that they ask him those questions. He just lost a game We don't need to know where he's going next year or what he's doing. Like,
unless he just won the Super Bowl and then he's going to Disney World.
That's right. Then you can ask that question.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, so many emotions. Probably right now and in the next couple weeks is where he's going to feel the most like he doesn't want to ever play football again, doesn't want to play for the Packers, be just dissatisfied completely. And then things will kind of simmer down and he'll look at things realistically. But yeah, right after you lose the game isn't the time that he's evaluating that. I mean, he probably is evaluating that, right? In just like that internal anger, but not thinking really clearly, realistically. And so it's hard to get a beat on, is he going to be back with the Packers or not? You know, let's give it a few months, see what the Packers do, see, you know, where they're at, what kind of changes they make. I mean, those are the things that he's going to be looking at. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it really is an unfair question right after you just lose a game.
Yeah. I would say the results of who's in the Super Bowl, though, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that the Buccaneers get to play in Tampa Bay. It's the first time that that's ever happened.
It is cool. I think it's a little unfair, but it's cool.
Well, yes, but also it's not going to be that unfair because there's not going to be hardly any fans there. I think the fans that they are going to have there are going to be first responders that are vaccinated,
right?
Which is cool. But
so I guess that's true.
Not like
it's a good year to have it happen.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're Tampa Bay, it's like, oh, that's too bad. That's a missed opportunity. But it's going to be cool for them. I think they're the visiting team. So interesting. Do they have to go in the visiting locker room?
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, they'll be home. That obviously is going to be an advantage. They're going to be playing there all week, not having to travel and things. So, but that's cool for them. Cool for Tampa. Cool for the investment that they made in Tom Brady and their team. And they've been doing that for the last couple of years. You know, bringing in Bruce Arians and just building something that's good.
Do you think
it's nice to see
Antonio Brown's going to play?
I really hope not.
Being a Steelers fan, and I mean, my family's somewhat Steelers fans. He might not be so much.
Not so much.
He's not an Antonio Brown fan though.
No, and nobody should be.
True. I was a big Antonio Brown fan. And then
I feel when he was only throwing TVs out his window that are almost killing people.
That's when I was like, okay. But I kind of feel bad for him. I'm like, I feel like something's actually wrong with him.
Yeah.
I think he needs some help.
Yeah, it's
so
hard.
I feel bad.
It's hard when you've been that privileged that long, have that much money. You tend to surround yourselves with people that just make you feel good about yourself, and you don't want to hear.
Which,
actually, and don't have to.
My favorite person, Michael Vick, actually talks about in like his biographies.
Yeah.
His videos. He talks about that, how hard it is to be famous, to be the guy. So.
Yeah, because it's really easy to anybody that disagrees with you to tell them to go away, and there's 1,000 people that would love to just stand by your side and tell you that you're always right, even when everybody knows you're not. And it's hard to see reality when you've got several people saying, no, it's fine. You know, it really skews your perception of things. So I think you're right. I do feel bad for him, but I think he's had enough chances and enough come to reality moments.
Tom Brady must love him. He might feel bad for him too, but I feel like he's begged him.
I don't know. I would be curious to know. I feel like Tom Brady's more of a competitor and can really talk to people on a competitive level and you know, really gel with them there. I
did want to add, while you're speaking about or talking about Tom Brady, is how humble he is. He is the real deal. He's one of the most famous people in the whole entire world, one of the most famous athletes, but he's very humble for how good he is. I mean, this is his 10th Super Bowl.
Yeah, which is so.
What?
I heard on ESPN. So he's been to 10 Super Bowls. That's something like 47% ish of the seasons that he's played. he's played in the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Which is like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the very first Super Bowl, I remember when the New England Patriots came out, it was the very first time. Normally, when they introduce the teams, they introduced either the offense or the defense, and they introduced the individual starting players, which is a big deal. And the Patriots, when they came out, they said, no, we're just the New England Patriots. And there was this whole fight with the networks and stuff on how you can't do that. And their owner, Robert Kraft, had their back and said, okay, I'll fight for you. And they came out as just the New England Patriots, which now nobody really remembers because everybody does that as a show of solidarity and team. But the Patriots were the first to do that. Anyway, that's a long story to say. Tom Brady, when he won the MVP and they said, here's the keys to your truck, I think, he said, oh no, like that can be the team's truck. Like he was very not grabbing of the spotlight.
And that's at the very beginning.
And that was at the very beginning.
I haven't seen much of a difference.
Yeah, and so they interviewed him, on the podium with the trophy, and they asked him a few questions, and they started to say, we've got one more question for you. And he interrupted them and said, why don't you talk to somebody else on the team? This was a team effort. I don't remember his exact words, but he just kind of went off into the crowd. And
he actually went off into the crowd and said, can I see my son?
Oh, well, yeah. After that, he went into the crowd with his teammates, celebrated there, and then went and shared a moment with his son, which is also a really cool thing. But I do think, some of that can be for show and some of that can be fake. Yeah. But Tom Brady's been very consistent on
he was with Drew Brees' family last week.
Yeah.
On the field, throwing footballs to him and stuff. So it's like, okay. I mean, that makes Drew Brees a good person, too.
Definitely.
He just lost a game, but he's spending.
Oh, it was after the game?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that's rough.
It was right after the game.
Good for both of them.
Yeah. So it was really cool. But yeah, that's my opinion on Tom Brady. I think I don't know how you could talk bad about him because there are several players that aren't even comparable to him that are like, hey, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Which they are good. They're good, but can you just tone it down and be a little more humble?
Right. I feel like a few years back, Tom Brady solidified himself as the greatest quarterback of all time. But if anybody had any questions about whether he was the greatest, that should have been answered this week.
Yes.
With the Buccaneers going to the Super Bowl, not even being a good team last year, and no, it's not all Tom Brady, and no, Tom Brady didn't play great in the second half, but he brings competitiveness and a desire for people to be competitive. He makes, whether he's doing it himself or not, he makes that whole team better. And so to clearly be the greatest of all time and not be an Antonio Brown kind of character about it is, for so many years, is very commendable. And he might, I don't know him, he might not be the best person, but from what we see, he's a pretty good guy.
And his whole health routine is
think,
crazy. It's really cool.
Like, we were watching the game, and our parents said, he looks like he's 25.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he does. Maybe 30.
Yeah, because I'm 24. Okay, I look like a baby. that doesn't help.
That's not helpful. But he really does look great. And yeah, it's so difficult because I really like ice cream. I don't know about that avocado ice cream that Tom Brady's got, if that really can do the trick.
Maybe.
But we probably should all live our lives a little bit more like Tom Brady.
Yeah. If we all were living like Tom Brady, we would have a lot of money.
Yeah. So
he's not worried about money for a minute. I don't think his kids are ever going to be worried about money.
No.
That's crazy. I think it's well-deserved. Crazy how much money he really has, though.
Yeah. Well, on the other side, Patrick Mahomes has all the money.
He does.
So, getting back to that, you got Patrick Mahomes, you've got Tom Brady. How are you feeling about the Super Bowl? I mean, you already said you were excited.
Yes. I want the Buccaneers. I think it's awesome that Tom Brady has gotten to the Super Bowl with a brand new team, who I think is going to win. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I really, really want it to be a good, close game. I want them to both play each other. Show up to the Super Bowl and play their very best. I want it to be a good game. I do see the Chiefs coming out on top, though.
I think so too. I hope that it's not the case. I really want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the game. I think the Chiefs are going to probably win by 10 or 17.
Le'Veon Bell.
What about Le'Veon Bell?
We got Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell that both left the Steelers in not very nice ways. And they're both going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to bring that up.
Congratulations to them, and the Steelers are.
Yeah.
But I think, if we see the Tom Brady that we saw in the first half of the Packers game, and I think he's taking a lot of heat for his second half performance, and he did have the one interception was very bad. The other, well, I think he had 3 interceptions, but the one that he kind of lofted up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't all his fault. I think he's taken some heat for that receiver needs to go and get the ball. I think it was Evans.
I think it was Mike Evans.
Yeah. So
you're talking about the one in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those where your quarterback's throwing the ball up for grabs for you. He's trusting you to get it.
Right.
Evans,
and you're Mike Evans.
And you're Mike Evans.
Athletic.
And you don't shut up about how you're Mike Evans. He didn't even know where the ball was. Mm-hmm. He was 5 yards away from it as that interception was happening. Inexcusable. I played receiver. I will tell you as a receiver, that's absolutely inexcusable play for a wide receiver. Whether he could have caught it or not, I don't know, but he's got to make a play on the ball. So not all Tom Brady's fault. His performance in the second half wasn't 100% bad on Tom Brady. But if we see that Tampa Bay team, that Tom Brady team that we saw in the first half where it's firing, making big third downs. And it's hard to imagine Tom Brady in a Super Bowl not being on fire, then we could have a really good game. Yeah. And Tampa Bay's defense is no joke, but Mahomes is just in his own category. So it'll be interesting to see how that Tampa Bay defense does. I'm really interested to see the first and second drives with the Tampa Bay defense, and then the first and second drives of the second half to see how they adjust. It's going to be really fun.
But what mask is Andy Reid going to wear?
Oh, he's going to wear that really pointy.
The duck one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm putting that down as an almost positive.
I think we talked about it last time, how my family loves Andy Reid because of my grandpa. I forgot what I was going with this. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned that Andy Reid actually, his first job was under my grandpa. So it's kind of weird now looking, I'm like, Grandpa, why didn't you stick with it? You could have been there. So it's kind of weird. But I think my grandpa might need to call him up and talk to him about his mask.
Yeah, it's not stylish. And Andy Reid never has been one for
That's
style.
True. He hasn't.
But that is, so speaking of Andy Reid, that is one thing I think really goes against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And one thing that the Patriots always had is you always knew the Patriots were going to come with a really great game plan. And especially having 2 weeks in the Super Bowl, they always did very well. And I think the Buccaneers are coached really well. I think Bruce Arians is a great coach. And I think they're going to come very well prepared. But one thing that's not going to happen is they're not going to out-prepare Andy Reid.
Yeah, and Andy Reid is phenomenal at making adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
He's really, really good.
Yes. And so that's where I would say if it wasn't Andy Reid, and even if it was Mahomes, but take Andy Reid out and it's some other coach, I give the Patriots, I give the Buccaneers a lot more chance to win than now being versus Andy Reid. Because at best, that coaching advantage is even, really.
Mm-hmm. So, we have 2 weeks till the Super Bowl. Pro Bowl is next week, and I mean, they're playing video games.
I think I will watch that just for 5 minutes.
I think I'll watch it for a second. I watched Michael Vick and Juju play, I think it was earlier this year, and Michael Vick kicked his butt. It was not even a close game, which is funny because Juju streams every day, but he did not play well. So I'm like, it kind of sucks for the players that are in the Pro Bowl. I'm like, okay, you don't actually get to play in the Pro Bowl. You get to play a video game. So I do feel bad for them. I'm not quite sure why we decided to go that route.
Well, I think it's because you've got a lot of different players coming from different locations to one place, and it's just a lot of them haven't been playing for weeks.
That's
so
true.
Who knows who they've been around, and they're out of the COVID protocol. So it's just a lot of, people with a lot of different backgrounds from
That's true.
that haven't been closely monitored. So it's just asking for COVID problems. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of at the beginning of the pandemic. They did that. A lot of the basketball players were
they were
doing tournaments and stuff, and that was kind of fun to watch. But I don't think I can take a whole game of it. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. So 2 weeks, then the Super Bowl. We want it. We're both kind of on the same page here. We want the Buccaneers. We think the Chiefs are gonna win. Yeah. I don't know if we have.
No, I think that was all on our list. So I think we're good for today. We'll probably do another one a week or two after the Super Bowl. Just kind of talk about that. Kind of talk about the other videos that we've posted. Other ones coming up. I think we've got a remote play video coming up.
You told them?
Sneak peek. If you made it all the way to the end of this,
sneak peek.
50 minutes.
We're on vacation right now too, so it's gonna be a good video coming up.
Yeah. Actually, so since you mentioned that, before we wrap up, and to make this even longer, I meant to start this way, but I had a really great experience where I've been working with a school district, a local school district, and they've been vaccinating their teachers. And I got an email this week that I guess they had some extra vaccines or something, and they asked me, do you want to come in tomorrow and get a vaccine? And I said, absolutely, I would love to. And walking into that building, I felt such a pride in humanity and just this human achievement, just this impossible vaccine created in an impossible amount of time, and then all of these volunteers volunteering to be there to give the vaccine, and it was just a very cool, almost spiritual experience, and I'm just so grateful for all those people that worked so hard to make that vaccine possible, and also those that continue to work hard to distribute it, and all of the healthcare workers that have been just slammed the past year, which is, we can talk about the bad parts about that, but I don't really want to. No. Unfortunately for you, you're a healthcare worker and you still unfairly haven't been vaccinated, but it looks like you've got a date coming up pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And here we are kind of on a little vacation, trying to do it as safe as possible during COVID times. Right. And I just bringing that up just made me really want to say thank you to everybody who has been doing that, and also maybe battle a little bit of the misinformation and lies and things about the vaccination. Get vaccinated. Let's get back to getting things back to normal.
Back to normal. Yeah. That's our first step right there. So, yes, I will be vaccinated soon. For some reason, it's pushed out a little bit, so I got a ways to go. But So we're going to go finish enjoying our vacation. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please, 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 we want to get to 100 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and like. Comments are always appreciated. Thank you so much.
See you next
Brooklyn,
time.
Bronson, see you next time.